terms of her best qualities or what her team might put forward, what sort of president do you think she might make?
Well, what kind of a president? Well, people, it's a question for every vice president. Can a vice president be a Harry Truman, who was Franklin Delano Roosevelt's vice president? Nobody thought very much of him when he was vice president. He didn't have much of a role at all in the Roosevelt administration, and yet he became a very consequential president. So will Kamala Harris be a Harry Truman? We will see. But people who underestimate Kamala Harris tend to lose, and so I wouldn't underestimate her. In terms of her position, she's going to be a Biden Democrat. She's going to be supportive of Israel. She's certainly going to be supportive of the war in Ukraine. She's going to be very supportive of NATO. So she would continue the Biden tradition in those ways. I have no doubt.
A word on race and religion. Harris is the first female, Black and Asian vice president. She also identifies as a Christian. Her husband is Jewish. How important are those different elements in her life? She hasn't spoken very much about them. How will they be seen in the US?
Well, she, I'm not sure it's going to make a huge big difference. Certainly her husband, Doug Emhoff, is a very proud Jew. He's been very out front and critical of this wave of anti-Semitism that's been happening in the States. And she will certainly be that way as well. In terms of her religion, she I've never heard her talk about it in any detailed way. I mean, she said she prayed for Donald Trump after the gunman took a shot at him. I know that in college she regularly went to church when she was at Howard University. So I know that she has religion. I'm not sure how significant that's going to be in the 2024 election.
What do you think drives Kamala Harris? How do you think she's going to deal with Donald Trump? He's said that Harris would be easier to defeat than Biden.
Yeah, well, again, I think people who underestimate Kamala Harris end up losing. He would not be the first man to underestimate Kamala Harris. She can be formidable. She can be a very good candidate. I moderated a debate that she had when she ran for Attorney General against a very accomplished prosecutor and the head of the district attorney of Los Angeles County. So by all accounts, he should have won that race. He was very accomplished, but she bested him in that debate. I covered the one debate she had when she ran for the United States Senate in 2016, and she's very good on her feet. So if Donald Trump thinks that she would be a pushover in the debate, I'm not so sure that he would be correct. That said, she starts as the underdog. The polls show that Trump is leading. Trump is leading in key states, as you know, as your listeners know. The U.S. doesn't elect a president based on popular vote. It elects a president based on electoral votes. And so in key swing states, Trump is ahead. So she's got an uphill fight, without a doubt.
Kamala Harris has been unpopular as a vice president, and she's had some difficulties. The money, as you say, is now flowing towards the Democrats. Why has the vice president role been difficult, presented these difficulties to Kamala Harris, do you think?
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I'm not an expert on the vice presidency, but I do know, having lived here all my life, that it's really hard to be a vice president. You're the you're the wing person of the president. Your success or failure depends on the president's success or failure. His favorable ratings and polls have been in the tank, and so have hers. So when you say she's been an unpopular vice president, I guess it sort of depends on who you're looking at. I don't think she's been unpopular among people of color. I don't think that she's been unpopular among women. And women and people of color are going to be very influential in the 2024 election. And also, you should know that since the U.S. Supreme Court overturned the constitutional right of abortion, she has taken a leading role on behalf of the White House talking about abortion rights and women's health care. And so she's really found her footing on that issue in a way that she didn't on some of the earlier issues she was handling, such as immigration. So I think that she's going to have a chance to reintroduce herself to the U.S. public, to voters, and they're going to get a whole new look at who Kamala Harris is, what kind of candidate she can be.